This video brings an urgent message that could save your spiritual destiny. They have been watching you, tracking every step of your spiritual growth, and now they've noticed something about you that puts you in serious danger. This isn't just another spiritual warfare video. It's a critical alert about forces that have identified you as a target. The window to protect yourself is closing fast, and you might already be too late to prevent what's coming. The message you're about to receive has been arranged to reach you at this exact moment before they strike. There's a divine appointment happening right now as you watch. Don't scroll away, because what you're about to learn could be the difference between spiritual victory and spiritual destruction. Jesus wants to warn you, but you need to recognize the signs that you're being watched. This isn't an ordinary spiritual message. It's a divine alert about spiritual forces that have been monitoring your growth with evil intentions. These entities have been studying your prayer life, your breakthroughs, your spiritual victories, and now they've marked you for targeted attacks. Missing this warning means spiritual assaults are already in motion against you. This alert marks a critical moment where you can still take protective action, but the time window is shrinking rapidly. Jesus is deeply concerned that if you don't recognize the signs of being watched, you'll be caught completely defenseless. That's why this message found you today. Your attention to this video isn't random. It's a divinely orchestrated moment designed to reveal the spiritual danger surrounding you before it's completely too late. The enemy has been patient, waiting for the right moment to launch their coordinated attack against your spiritual progress. The spiritual realm is more active around you right now than you realize, and both light and darkness have noticed your growing influence. Every spiritual breakthrough you've experienced recently has been witnessed by forces on both sides. Every answered prayer that seemed like a miracle has caught their attention. All the times you felt like something was spiritually fighting against your progress, you were absolutely right. They were studying you. Your spiritual victories haven't gone unnoticed by the enemy. Those moments when attacks seem to come right after your biggest breakthroughs, that wasn't coincidence, it was coordinated opposition. The times when your faith grew stronger despite difficult circumstances, heaven celebrated, but darkness took notice too. The spiritual authority you've been developing, the way people come to you for prayer, the influence you have in your family or community, all of this has put you on their radar. The questions you've had about feeling spiritually targeted weren't paranoia. They were accurate spiritual discernment. Jesus has seen every attack launched against you because of your growing spiritual significance. The enemy's attention actually proves how valuable you are to God's kingdom, which is why Jesus is making this warning unmistakably clear before they escalate their efforts. What they noticed about you is your rapidly increasing spiritual sensitivity and authority. Spiritual enemies identify rising believers by watching for specific signs, answered prayers, spiritual breakthroughs, growing influence, and the ability to help others experience God's power. They've been monitoring how people respond to your prayers and how your faith affects the spiritual atmosphere around you. They noticed that your spiritual discernment is becoming sharper, that you're starting to recognize their tactics, and that your prayers are beginning to disrupt their activities. The enemy has been studying your daily routines, your spiritual disciplines, your relationships, looking for weaknesses they can exploit in a coordinated attack. Jesus is revealing their surveillance because he cares deeply about your protection and your spiritual destiny. They've been waiting for you to become comfortable in your spiritual growth, hoping to catch you off guard when you least expect it. The window to recognize you're being spiritually monitored is closing because they're preparing to move from observation to active assault. Once they attack, it becomes much harder to establish the spiritual defenses you need right now. When you recognize that you're being spiritually targeted, everything about your recent spiritual battles will suddenly make perfect sense strange opposition you've faced, unexpected attacks on your family or finances, and spiritual resistance you couldn't understand will all connect in a moment of divine clarity. Jesus has encouraging news for you today. Your spiritual authority is growing to levels that threaten the enemy's activities, and powerful defensive strategies are becoming available to you now. The spiritual realm has recognized something unique about your faith journey, and you've been chosen to receive this advanced warning. This moment marks a significant elevation in your spiritual warfare capabilities. It's clear evidence that your spiritual maturity is reaching levels where you can engage in higher battles and win them. Something incredibly significant is unfolding in your spiritual development, far more powerful than you might have imagined. Recognition of being targeted begins an advanced spiritual training that will transform every area of your life, from your prayer life to your spiritual authority, to your ability to protect others from similar attacks. There's a wave of heavenly attention surrounding you right now because of your growing spiritual significance. You're becoming the kind of believer who can shift spiritual atmospheres, and naturally this draws both divine protection and enemy opposition into your experience. Recognizing that you're being watched brings heightened awareness of Jesus' defensive strategies working on your behalf. More spiritual insights about warfare and victory will begin flowing to you than ever before. This isn't happening by chance. It's a carefully arranged elevation designed specifically for this season when you need advanced spiritual weapons. Your prayers carry more weight in the spiritual realm than you realize. Your spiritual sensitivity inspires heaven and threatens hell at the same time. Your faith makes a measurable difference in the spiritual atmosphere around your family, workplace, and community. This divine recognition shows that Jesus deeply values what you're becoming in his kingdom. Every step of spiritual growth you've taken, even when it felt slow or difficult, has developed the spiritual muscle you need for the battles ahead. Jesus celebrates when you recognize your spiritual importance because it means you're ready for greater victories. The timing of this warning is no accident. It comes now because you're spiritually mature enough to handle the truth about being targeted. This precise moment has been chosen because you've grown to the point where you can engage in higher-level spiritual warfare and win. Your spiritual eyes are now open enough to see battles that were invisible to you before. Your heart has been strengthened through spiritual challenges. Your faith has been tested and proven genuine through difficult seasons. Your spiritual authority has developed to the point where you can use advanced spiritual weapons effectively. All the spiritual opposition you've faced has actually been training for this moment of recognition. Nothing in your spiritual journey has been wasted. Every attack you've survived has built the spiritual strength you need now. This particular warning about being watched connects to larger spiritual battles happening worldwide. Jesus is revealing this level of spiritual intelligence only to believers who have proven they can fight back effectively and help others do the same. Your spiritual readiness has qualified you to receive this advanced warning system. If you're feeling strengthened by this spiritual warfare revelation, please consider sending us super thanks of $5, $10, $20 or more to support our mission of exposing enemy tactics and equipping believers for victory. Your generosity helps these critical spiritual insights reach those who desperately need to recognize they're being targeted. When you give, you participate in a sacred battle that allows us to continue revealing the strategies heaven wants believers to know in these intense spiritual times. As you begin to recognize that you're being spiritually watched, new warfare awareness will naturally develop in your life. This clearer vision brings new responsibilities, not just to protect yourself, but to help other believers who are also being targeted but don't realize it yet. Don't view these responsibilities as burdens, but as sacred opportunities to participate in Jesus' victory. This revelation signals it's time to step into spiritual warrior status and engage these battles with heavenly wisdom and power. Finding balance becomes essential during this spiritually intense time. While defending yourself from attacks, remember to strengthen your spiritual foundation through prayer, worship, and scripture. These spiritual disciplines have shaped who you are as a believer and will continue to support you as you grow into this expanded role as a spiritual warrior who can recognize and defeat enemy strategies. Jesus is inviting you to become more than just a target, but a person who helps others recognize when they're being spiritually monitored and teaches them how to fight back effectively. As you become aware of being spiritually targeted, think about how you can help other believers who are missing the signs that they're being watched too. Your experience proves that the enemy is actively monitoring growing believers, looking for opportunities to destroy their spiritual progress before they reach their full potential. Heaven witnesses every moment when someone recognizes they're under spiritual surveillance and chooses to fight back instead of being intimidated. Your story of recognizing enemy attention brings hope to believers feeling under attack or wondering if the spiritual opposition they're experiencing is real. Your awareness becomes a light that helps others develop the spiritual discernment to recognize when they're being studied by spiritual enemies. This revelation about being watched isn't meant to be a private warning. It's an invitation to help others experience the same spiritual protection and victory. Jesus often works through those who have recently recognized enemy tactics to help awaken other believers who are still missing the signs that they're being spiritually targeted and monitored for coordinated attacks. As you navigate this new level of spiritual awareness about being watched, stay consistently alert to their tactics. Jesus reminds you that while recognizing you're being targeted is crucial, it's just the beginning of a lifetime of spiritual warfare victories. Maintain the spiritual sensitivity that allowed you to see the signs of enemy surveillance in the first place. Guard against returning to spiritual complacency that made you vulnerable to their monitoring before they revealed themselves. Let your warrior awareness continue to flow from genuine faith and daily connection to Jesus' protective presence. With this new knowledge about being spiritually watched comes ongoing responsibility to remain armed and dangerous to their plans. Use this revelation wisely to discern real spiritual attacks from ordinary life challenges. Not every difficulty is enemy assault, but Jesus will make truly coordinated attacks obvious to your trained spiritual eyes. Embrace this journey of spiritual warfare with both humility and bold confidence. Show others that defeating spiritual enemies comes from staying connected to Jesus daily through prayer, worship, scripture, and immediate obedience when he reveals their strategies to counter their moves. Picture a future where you consistently recognize and defeat every spiritual attack launched against you. Imagine divine protection surrounding every area of your life, spiritual victories arriving precisely when you need them, and your understanding of spiritual warfare expanding beyond anything you've experienced before. Jesus stands with you as your commander, encouraging you to embrace this journey of spiritual warfare with complete confidence in his power working through you. This is truly your moment to step into advanced spiritual authority through recognizing that being watched means you're spiritually significant. This marks the beginning of a season when your spiritual discernment, warfare skills, and heart will be more aligned with heaven's victory strategies than ever before. Accept this warrior calling with gratitude, and remember that you're surrounded by divine military support on this battlefield. The path ahead holds countless opportunities to experience Jesus' victory through spiritual battles that will become increasingly clear to your trained warrior eyes. What joy awaits as you learn to defeat every strategy they use against you. If this spiritual warfare message has awakened the warrior in your spirit, please consider blessing our channel with a super thanks of $5, $10, $20, or whatever amount feels right to you. Your support creates a powerful spiritual partnership and allows us to continue exposing enemy tactics to believers who need these revelations most. Your generosity helps fund our mission to help others recognize when they're being spiritually monitored in these intense warfare times. If you're ready to declare that you're aware they're watching and you're prepared to fight back, type 999 in the comments below. The journey of spiritual warfare continues beyond this revelation about being watched. As you step into advanced warrior awareness, stay grounded in prayer and scripture that keeps your spiritual weapons sharp and effective. Every victory you win could be the exact breakthrough someone else has been praying for in their own spiritual battles. Your growing warfare expertise serves as inspiration for other believers, wondering if they're also being spiritually targeted and monitored by enemy forces. Move forward with a warrior's heart, a strategic mind, and a spirit ready to engage in battle whenever they try to attack. Create opportunities for others to recognize spiritual surveillance as you enjoy the victories coming your way through advanced spiritual warfare. The language of spiritual battle has always been part of how Jesus protects those who serve him faithfully. By choosing to fight back instead of being intimidated, you join a powerful tradition of spiritual warriors who have learned to defeat every enemy strategy. The spiritual realm now knows you're no longer an easy target. You're a dangerous threat to their plans who fights back with heaven's full backing.